Welcome back to your Super Tuesday recap. It's a special Super Tuesday recap because we're doing it early, 9 o'clock in the morning. D-Palm's getting ready to go on his bachelor party, and I'm just out of work. So,
I thought Trump was a job creator.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? No, like I said, hopefully, I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks, hear back. I have a job offer. I'm waiting to hear back when my paperwork comes in. But until then, I get plenty of time to do stuff for the site, and that's what I've been doing. So, we're here. We're going to record this Arrow review real quick, earlier than we normally do. Arrow, Season 5, Episode 19, Dangerous Liaisons. Oliver, Team Arrow, Argus, and the SCPD kick off a citywide manhunt for Adrian Chase. Helix tells Felicity they have a way of finding Chase, but that they will need something big and illegal from her in return. Not that illegal should be anything that stops her, because everything she's been doing is illegal in the first place. So, yeah, man, look, we've talked about this before. Arrow's been the show this season for CW.
Yes,
like
this is the pace setter, and that's what the tip of the cap to a very, very good Legend of Tomorrow season. Yeah,
very good Legend of Tomorrow season. I haven't kept up on it, but I've heard good things about Supergirl. I actually think The Flash might be the back of the class this season for everybody.
I said that to someone this week, and they didn't argue at all. So
yeah, I mean, and that had to say that The Flash is terrible. It is not. It's just that everything else has really stepped their game up, which, you know what, I think is a good thing. And I think that's a great thing for what CW has done over on their network, where if you told me a few years ago that they're going to create a show with an A-list character like Barry Allen and The Flash, I would ask, so what are the other shows going to do? And they've done a good job in that, hey, The Flash can't rest on it just being The Flash. They're going to have to step their game up next season because everybody else is coming, and the King is back, and Arrow is showing everyone how to get it done. Like, every time we have a question, like I remember a couple weeks ago, and this is a recurring thing with us and Caitlin on The Flash. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about the character Felicity and what they're going to do with her and how they're trying to evolve her. And remember, we had this conversation about, hey, we really hope that they don't have Oliver come and save Felicity and get her out of the mess. And I'm not going to lie, this entire episode, I was waiting for that to happen. And it did not go the way I thought it was going to go.
No, it really didn't. It was one of my big fears. Well, that, like you said, they're going to have Oliver come in and sweep it and be the guy and save everyone. But they didn't do that. And they showed a little restraint, and they were able to show us that Felicity is her own character. So one of the big themes on the show this season has been Oliver's found this moral center, and he's watching everyone else make the mistakes he's made. Another big thing about this season has been, or the show in general, has been separating a character from Team Arrow and kind of using their experiences outside of there to define themselves. Diggle in his things with Andy and Deadshot. Hell, we're talking about Laurel and her drunken storyline when people didn't love it, but at least it gave her something to do. It gave her an impetus to move forward and to start training with Wildcat, which would never have happened if she'd remained on the fringes of Team Arrow. Thea and Roy literally had their own plot in the back half of season 1.
Mm-hmm.
They've created a situation. The only reason, this is not hate, it's a little bit clunky with Felicity.
Right.
Because with the other ones, it felt like they were mining their past. And this Helix thing felt, while it kind of tied to some of the things they'd shown us, it did feel kind of out of left field. But I'm glad how they reconciled it.
Yeah. And not only that, Felicity's a weird character because it almost feels like, and again, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really read up on, the writers and what they've been saying about this. But I almost feel like Felicity came out of less fields for them. Like, she became a more popular character than maybe she was initially, sought out to be. Like, with all the other characters, you can kind of see they had that foundation there. Felicity, they've been kind of trying to, if she's not going to be, and I understand that, the end goal might be for her to be with Oliver, but that can't be the defining moment for a female character. Just, well, you're somebody's boyfriend.
Right.
And so they've been trying to struggle with that. And like you said, hey, the Helix thing came out of left field. And what I like about it is, I don't feel like it's done.
No, it's definitely not tough.
What was the name of the guy she released? Caden James, was that it?
I think it was Caden James. Yes.
Like that's gonna come back at some point.
This is going to be a problem that occurs again.
Right. And what I love about it is I don't think it's gonna be a problem that occurs this season. So
right. Just like the vigilante issue.
Right.
We're gonna have to deal with this later.
And what I like about that is you can now give Felicity something to work. Even if right now it doesn't seem like it's an antagonistic relationship, but it can be like Anarchy and Thea. Like that was a recurring thing that they started and we're like, oh wow. And then the next season they kept it going. I was like, oh, this is a recurring problem that you can always come back to the well with, and that can be her problem. And that's what it feels like they've done with Helix right here. Because the entire time you're seeing things happening. You're like, damn, Felicity, I don't think these are good people, and I think that they are using you. But like, I liked how they did that. I like how they kept they made it so that she had. How can I put this? Like, I know that there's something wrong with Helix, but they don't come out. They didn't overplay it. Like there other shows I feel like would have overplayed it. It was like they would have kept, yep, Helix is bad. That's it. You know, Felicity learned her lesson. She's never going to deal with them. They didn't do that. Or
even like even before this, they would have had like when every time she left their bunker, like an extra 2 seconds of like a knowing look between the bad guys.
Right. So it comes out that you basically find out that hey, they've been using her to get her to help them get Caden James, but Felicity doesn't, even at this point, Felicity doesn't seem to feel that way, right? That she was used, because they still give her something in return here. But that's what they were doing. They were basically using her. I think the girl, her name was Elena. She kills a guy this episode with an elevator, which is, by the way, pretty good. Like,
hey, as far as creative deaths go, way to go, Arrow.
Hey, not bad there, guy. Like because here's the thing: when she killed this guy, we all immediately thought, oh man, what the fuck did Adrian Chase do? How the fuck did he? Was it a meta? And then somebody goes, "Oh no,
elevators now."
Right. It's like, oh no, it's the elevator. It's like, what the fuck? At one point, Elena turns the automated guns on the Diggle. So it's like you see that she's willing to do things that even Felicity isn't. And while Felicity didn't see that at this point, you can see in the future that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a line, because at some point they're going to come knocking back on the door and crawling back to Felicity, wanting her help, and that's a problem. And they've set this. I really enjoy how they did that. Like it's very, very good. And then on top of just that, you then set up this really good philosophical debate between Felicity and Oliver. Hey, Oliver makes good points. Listen, I'm telling you not to do this because I know what it did to me. Like, yes, you guys were right. I crossed the line plenty of times, but look at what it caused. You know, you're out here doing this stuff because of my problem. I went too far. I created Adrian Chase, and now you're out here also going too far. I don't want you to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. Which, hey, you know what? From Oliver's point of view, that's a solid argument. Very good argument. But then Felicity makes a good argument too. Basically, which was, I'm a grown-ass woman. I can make my own fucking choices. And that choice does not have to be solely because of you, which is exactly what we kind of wanted.
I 100% agree. I did have an issue, not an issue. It was weird because I'm kind of, so, like I did the thing where I'll put an old show on in the background and do shit around my house. Mm-hmm. And I'm like cruising through season 4 of Arrow, and I'm at the scene after Felicity got shot. And Oliver ties up Anarchy, he's torturing him for the information, and he ends up going back to Felicity because she finds that she can't walk. He walks in, they have a talk, she says, "You didn't go off the deep end, did you?" And it was a good reminder that she's always been that sinner for him. And so while I think it is very much part of Oliver's continued self-blaming, it's also part of like, man, you helped me. Like, you were my anchor. I got to be yours.
No, and that's why I think that Oliver's it didn't come off as fake. It didn't come off as that typical.
But you can see how she didn't want to take it like that.
Yeah, I'm a man and I need to protect. Like, it didn't come off as that, and the reason why it really didn't come off as that because Oliver's basically been doing this with all of Team Arrow this season. All season he's and they've been consistent with that. He's had the same conversation with Diggle. Because Diggle went off the deep end, and he was like, "Listen, you can't do this. You can't be what I did. And it kind of goes back to what Adrian Chase made him admit, and why he's again this entire episode. He's not in the suit again. He still can't put the suit back on because Adrian Chase had some real shit in there. Hey, like what you do is detrimental to other people around you, and not just physically, but you make them bad people.
And I think it's really interesting juxtaposed. And I think that was really well done the way they did it with the Lyla Diggle story.
Oh, that was really great.
Because like she's like, oh, he's like, you have an off black site. I'm like, Diggle, you locked your brother in the basement. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's a really, and this is a show that I think while next week's going to be one of those formula breaking episodes. Mm-hmm. I think they actually broke their formula here because they like explored the gender dynamics of relationships. Because aside from like even in a snapshot, usually it's the man who's going too far and the woman in television who's reeling them in. But even if you go deeper into relationships, it's now like it's so interesting to see these guys see the most emotionally mature of the couples that they're showing us be presented as the men, but we also have 4 years of watching them get there.
Right, and I love the way that they had Felicity and Oliver, and then also Lyla and Diggle. Because first of all, it was great to see Lyla because we haven't had her on the show in a while. So bringing her back in here and seeing this, and I love that Diggle was basically like, "You're starting to sound like Waller," because I'm like, "Damn, she is." I'm like, "Whoa, you are like this is a Waller." Like even her, listen. You don't know all the information I know. Maybe Waller was kind of right in having to do some of the things she did, which it sounds crazy, but then at the same time, you're like, well, I mean, Diggle, you and Oliver run across rooftops at night.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, while you like, this entire episode, I understood, and I thought they had very valid points, Oliver and Diggle, you know, and it's very noble. It's just like, listen, I don't want you going down this dark path that I've gone down. And they're trying to protect the people that they love from doing that. But at the same time, they also don't really have a solid footing to stand on for that. Because...
Well, they don't from a do as I say, not as I do perspective, but they do from like a trust, like
right,
yeah,
no, yeah.
All like, I want to learn my own experiences, but like sometimes you got to trust the dude who walked it earlier. And
right.
Someone you watch walk that path.
Right. And
like if a drunk comes up to me and says, "Yo, you got a drinking problem," I'm gonna start thinking about something.
Right, I'm gonna okay, you might make some valid points.
Right,
you know, and like I said, it was a. I like it because they don't make it. They kind of buck the gender norms on this, but at the same time, like. You don't get the women folding just to like, oh, well, you're right, Johnny. I'm going to do what you say. Like the women are just like, well, I don't know where we go from here. And like, you know, even Felicity was just like, well, I'm going to do this anyway. So yeah, you can try to stop me, that is not bad. Not bad at all. You know, even down to, you know, Diggle and Lyla having this conversation in the halls of Argus for those quick minutes, and then you find out that, you know, while Diggle's telling, he's making some valid points, then you find out that they're not even in the right facility because Lyla still didn't tell them the truth and had a black site, and it's just like, she's kind of not wrong, you know, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, they, like, it's one thing for them to, and the thing is, I liked about Diggle and Oliver is they never like bucked. They were like, "You're right." But that's how you know that I know what I'm talking about.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So no, I love that. I thought that was a really well done this way. The other thing they did really well this episode, and it's something we've been talking about, the last few times we watched Arrow. Rick Gonzalez as Renee, man, they
this ties back to what I talked about earlier. The members of Team Arrow become more interesting when you separate them from Team Arrow and give them their own stories. Holy shit, I care about Renee.
Like, good God, man! Like, and the way they've been doing it with Renee is this entire season they put him with different people. So you first get him with John Diggle. Diggle was the first one he really paired him with. Then they paired him with Curtis. Now you're pairing him with Quentin Lance, and man, like
Quentin Lance is the you're gonna have your own personality finishing school for the show.
Yeah.
Like once you get your Lance arc, and you're like, okay, you're ready.
Yeah.
Go meet him.
Yes. Send you out amongst the world because you've gotten Daddy Lance's you've gotten Daddy Lance's approval. Man, did not see that coming. And this entire episode, I'm just like, oh man, they're gonna okay. Well, I guess next week they'll bring in this. Oh no, they're gonna do the day. Oh, God, Daddy, when can I go home? Can we go home now? Come on, man.
Yeah,
come on, y'all didn't have to do this to us. This show has been too dark. But isn't that the thing we've been talking about with Arrow, with Flash, and why we tell them that Flash is never going to out-dark Arrow? And the reason for that is, even though Arrow goes dark, they know when to come in with that light. They know when to come in and give you that hope at some point. And we know they're going to snatch it away from you or things will get bad. But they know when to do that. They've had 5 seasons and they've broken this down and they know how to do it. You're not going to beat Arrow at that game. It's like trying to beat Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. on pacing and just everything that Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. You're not going to do it. So you got to find your own lane.
You know what it is?
What?
It feels like that Bane shit from Dark Knight Rises. Like Arrow was like, oh no, I see you want to do dark. Our first season is a serial killer show. You're not gonna out dark us. Relax. Stop trying so fucking hard.
I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't even see the light until I was. Oh, come on, yo! Like, no, but seriously. Yeah. I mean, these are Bane bars here because you're not gonna outdo that. I mean, from them, Renee and Quentin meeting with the father of one of Adrian Chase's victims, and then Quentin calling out Renee on this, and Renee telling the story about how he hurt his girl. I was like, wait, you hurt your girl? Well, how'd you do? And then he tells he got drunk and she burned herself on the pot. I'm like,
your heart breaks. You're like, ah, shit.
I'm like, yo, I wasn't prepared for this. Like that, and that's what Arrow does. It's like the dark they give you is never the dark you expect. So I'm not that is a heartbreaking story from a character that I was not expecting to get this from Renee. Right? Not expecting to get this from Renee. Any other character, okay, I was not expecting to get this from him. And you get it, and like you said, oh man, so good. Done really, really well here. And yeah, man, like I loved how they set that, like, because I'm not gonna lie, coming back from break, you're wondering, and we ended on a high note with Adrian Chase literally killing a man with a pin. And you're like, okay, so how are we gonna get this episode? And they don't even have Adrian in this episode. So think about that. You come back from break, and you're not gonna have Adrian Chase in there. The Flash went to the future, so they didn't have Savitar in it, but they went to the fucking future, right? They gave us
Arrow was cocky. That's like, no, our main villain's not gonna show up.
Yeah, they came back from break and gave us a Felicity and Oliver story. And killed it.
Oh, and murdered
it. Like, you just.
It wasn't a Felicity Oliver story. It was a Felicity story.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in this story pivots off of things that she does.
Yeah.
She's the driving mode. She's the star of this episode. Everyone else supporting characters, including the fact that Oliver never puts on the suit.
Yeah. He never puts on the suit.
At first I was like, oh, maybe he's doing some Black Ops work. And then I realized that Diggle's in his helmet and Dinah's another Dinah, which I still blows my fucking mind.
I know.
I've never met a real life Dinah in my life. I got 3 on the show. She's wearing the Domino mask.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, maybe you should all maybe we should all just get on a aesthetic that we can understand.
Kurt's got it on his mask, and
Kurt's got on the T mask and his cornrows.
Right, and the fair play, which we still don't know who's braiding the fucking hair, yo. We still don't know. I still don't know.
Yo, he built the machine. The T-spheres do it.
Yo, it's got to be it, yo. That's got to be it. Yeah, man. And Oliver still doesn't have the mask, the suit on because he can't do it. And yeah, man, like that is just really well done. Like the only thing I was waiting for, because they were so heavy on family and Quentin pushing Renee to this, I thought Black Sovereign was going to show up again. Like we know she's coming back, but I was prepared for her to show up into this episode.
That's what they've set up now, because they're like as a father, I'd do anything to get my daughter back. Like, well, maybe you shouldn't say that. But
right, right. I was going, oh man, you really shouldn't.
Anything's a big statement, like you know what I'm saying,
like oh, that's a loaded statement.
Like my tweet yesterday, I tweeted about how I wasn't going to take any personal joy in anyone getting laid off, and then the ESPN parted ways with Danny Kanell, and I was like, well,
let's not get rash here.
I tweeted that before I saw the full list in my defense.
Yeah, man, like really well done. I'm glad that yeah, like I said, they gave Felicity something to do here, and she didn't back down, you know, and she's not sorry. And then they get this this device that allows them to track Adrian Chase, only to find that he's already found them, and they're fucked. So that's gonna be like you said, that's going to be an interesting episode next week, but I'm prepared for that. And if you've seen the sizzle reel for what they're doing with Arrow, you know it.
I haven't.
I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just saying.
You tweeted it, and I was like, I can't look. I should look, but I can't look.
Don't, because, bruh, listen. Where we're at right now is there's 3 episodes left.
Yep.
All right. So yesterday we were talking about The Flash, and we're like, man, 3 episodes left. I don't know how they're going to do this. This is going to be a lot. There's only one choice for who a Savitar is. And, man, I guess we'll see how this works. I am so excited for these 3 episodes of Arrow. I cannot contain myself. It is going to be amazing. Like, and this is with them basically doing, I guess you could call it, almost probably doing like a bottle episode next week where Oliver and Felicity are going to be stuck in the air cave.
When I tell you I am so excited for that episode,
like
anytime a show like really challenges the form, like the shield up, the Angel Shield, where it's all Jim on that planet.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I need you to realize, especially when a show's like this, we love them, but they're the biggest audiences in the world. These are neat shows that cater to what we want. And what we want generally is superhero action. So they feel they need to deliver. They watch the ratings slip on the weeks they don't.
Mm-hmm.
For this show to say, what if we locked Oliver and Felicity in a room for an hour?
With 3 episodes left in the season.
With 3 episodes left, and we get the fallout of everything
mm-hmm.
of the last 4 years. We get these 2, because you know what? Yes, it's going to be about them getting out. It's good. We're going to deep dive into Felicity Oliver.
Right. Which is what we've been.
And it's something that, yeah, I think it needs to happen.
Yeah, they set it up this episode, and they started having that talk. And they started having that, and then the alarm went off. So, dude, I have the complete opposite feel I have, where I'm nervous for the Flash's last 3 episodes. I can't wait for Arrow. Arrow is now my go-to show. If they had moved Arrow to Tuesday to finish the season, I would watch Arrow first, and then I would watch Flash on DVR. I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten to this point now. King is back, yo. The king is back. Anything else you got to say about this episode?
No, that was basically it. I really enjoyed it. I loved this is, for all the things that we said, there's missteps in Arrow. This is Flash. This is a writer's room that knows what they're doing, that is going to come out and just said, this season we're putting a foot in everyone's chest, and we're going to take our claim. We started the CW verse. This is why we're the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when everything clicks on the show, it's a great show.
Yes. Absolutely. And
it clicked. And it didn't involve the main plot. Like, that's the craziest part. They pulled off a perfect episode. Main plot, no advancement.
which is crazy, right? Because again, this is something that we've been talking about with Flash, right? And I think this goes back to what I was saying, that Flash has waited too long to reveal who Savitar is, because now that Arrow's done that, we don't know who the Vigilante is, but he's never been he's been a side plot, but you know who the big bad is. And so they've been spending the last few episodes leading up to the end trying to stop the big bad with information of knowing who he is. With Savitar, you don't know, and it feels like the reveal of who Savitar is what's going to be necessary to sell the end of the there's a lot to be worried about there. But like I said, we'll see.
And also, I think something really interesting Arrow's done, and I hadn't really thought about until we just made the comparison. They were able to say, okay, Flash did something 2 seasons in a row where they reveal the bad guy early, and they kind of build the tension, and it becomes a longer fight. What if we reveal the bad guy early, but we keep him in everyone's orbit in his civilian life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about how tense those scenes were when it was him, Lance, and Renee. It was something we hadn't seen out of this universe, and it was a really good twist. What the Flash is doing, again, like we talked about in the review last night, if it lands, it lands. If it doesn't, we can see we can see how it's going to be hard to stick that landing. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, they done a really great job of paring down the cast here as well. Like, what happened to Ragman? Like, I don't. Yeah, okay, yeah, all right, that guy.
He's out.
Yeah, you just.
And Felicity, yeah, you know what? Your friends did kill a person with an elevator. You killed the town.
Oh, damn, dude.
She did. I was like,
but not deliberately.
At first, I thought the Helix girl was like, well, actually, Felicity, I was going to say, okay, good, she's going to bring this shit up. And she didn't. I was like, everyone's got a trump card on her. Oliver killed a lot of people. He never nuked shit.
He never nuked shit. That, like, oh, God, what a whore. I mean, you're right.
I'm just saying, like, we very much soft pedaled that Felicity, intentions be damned, and goals be damned. She detonated a nuclear device on American soil. And no one wants to deal with this. No one's arrested her. Argus been like, hey, bitch.
I mean, you guys, yeah, you're right. At some, like, maybe not Helix, but like you said, Lyla at least bringing it up, being like, you guys have no room to talk. You guys detonated a nuke. I mean, granted, you did save some people, but you did also murder, you
nuked fewer people than you would have nuked. You still nuked people. Like, I'm sorry.
Oh,
that became a point from last night, because I was watching, I was like, oh, they're going to bring it up again? No.
Yeah, at some point. Maybe they'll bring it up next week,
And Ragman just forgave her ass? I was like, all right, man. I guess.
It's that, when they go low, we go high shit, I guess. All right, man, let's do this real quick. We had something we were going to talk about yesterday on the AG and Shield podcast, but we were running late. So let's do it now. There's a lot of talk going on about Hydra Cap. And people a little bit up in their feelings. People trying to say that Nick Spencer can't write, which always makes me mad.
When you say a lot of things. Say this man can't write, man. You damn lie.
Yeah, okay. There's a terrible story that you're not reading, apparently, but it's a terrible story.
Also not over.
Right.
I hate this story. You know you feel
so from what I've gathered, and I'm gonna be honest here, like, I tried to be nice and tried to give people their leeway to not like the story and people are like, well, people of Jewish origin, they, backgrounds, they're upset because, the creators were Jewish of Steve Rogers, and fuck you. I'm sorry. I can't go with that anymore. That is such a lazy argument that because Captain America, Steve Rogers were created by Jewish creators, you can't decades later create a story where Steve Rogers has been manipulated. People forget this. They're not saying that the guy that they created all these years was Hydra. He's been manipulated by using the Cosmic Cube. That's the story.
Chris, it changed comic book reality. These motherfuckers.
Right. That's not the same. The Steve Rogers you were reading before, I guess, Assault on Pleasant Hill, is not the Steve Rogers we're reading now because reality was changed by reality-changing Infinity Stone. You jackasses. That's the story. What I get, and I'll let Deepom, because Deepom really wanted this rant, I'll get in, but what's been driving me crazy is I remember that, somebody said, Rick Remender came out and said that, whoa, they're trying to say that this started with things I've done. No, I didn't do this. But then I started thinking about this. I was like, oh no, actually you did. Because when he was writing Sam Wilson Captain America when it first came out, there was that whole big thing about the Red Skull claiming that Snap Wilson was his that Sam Wilson was always really Snap Wilson, and that he used the reality the Cosmic Cube to change Sam Wilson's reality, but that he was before Red Skull stepped in there. You were just Snap Wilson, so you were fine with that. You were fine with that put in there and that groundwork laid in there. Nick Spencer took it a step further and was like, all right, cool. What if Red Skull could change the reality and make his greatest enemy an ally? That's a good story.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I've been reading comics a very long time. I've read a lot of comics. I understand a lot of comics, and so there's things and patterns that I may recognize that I would allow that a lot of people may not. However, the trope of changing a character to highlight what makes that character great has been done for years and on very public forums. What do I mean? Glad you asked. You didn't ask? Don't give a shit. Sorry. Remember when they broke Batman's back and they gave us Asbats? He was created as a middle finger to the 90s Pouch and Blades Brigade to show that's not why Batman does this. They killed Superman in one of the most highly publicized events in comic history. Still not the best-selling comic. What up, Jim Lee? What up, X-Men? They killed Superman and brought back 4 different Supermen to highlight how important and special Superman was. Let's go smaller scale. Remember when Wally West vanished during his run and the Dark Flash took his fucking place for 12 issues, including his JLA issues in that run? Hey, you know what? Let's not even go modern. Let's not go big scale. Let's go, I don't know, let's go to the 70s. Let's go to just an obscure comic book called Captain fucking America. Thank you, Thor. He decides, after, by the way, killing Richard Nixon in office, he decides he can no longer defend this country and takes the identity of nomad, saying that he was a man without a country. He does this again in the 80s when he becomes U.S. agent, or the captain, excuse me. He gives it up because he's fighting with the government. Takes me anyways to captain. They brought in John Walker to be Captain America. He couldn't emulate Rogers' ideals, and then they push him back to Captain America because he's now reestablished what America means. God damn it, we've done this in fucking Bucky. Bucky Cap was to show us how important Steve Rogers was. But they're doing it in a way this time that isn't denigrating any of the surrounding characters. It's not gonna make John Walker a drug addict who couldn't cut it as Captain America, and then turn him into like Captain America Light, who you use in stories when you can't get Cap. They're not doing that. They've elevated these characters by not removing the character in a way that made him sympathetic. If you break Cap's back and Falcon comes in, it's not the same story.
Nope.
If you kill Cap and Falcon comes in, it's not the same story. You have to turn Cap, because it's the one thing that's never been done in his history. We want new and exciting stories. Well, not this new and exciting story. Fuck you. Sorry.
No, the reason why I at this point I don't entertain anybody's complaints about this is because when it comes down to it, your problem isn't that Hydra's Nazis and they're, and the writers were Jewish. You don't give a shit about any of that stuff, because I know for a fact that Marvel's been doing this Hydra stuff for years. Nobody cared. Remember during Winter Soldier, it became a big thing to do the Hail Hydra memes. I have a reversible Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra hoodie that has Hail Hydra on the back. They were selling this at New York Comic Con. People fucking loved it. All right? Don't tell me all of a sudden now, well, Hydra's Nazis, and so that's why Marvel can't do those stories. No, we've always done that. So what's the difference? You guys were fine with it before. So what's the problem now? We're doing Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. right now. They're literally going and promoting Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Agents of Hydra. So what's the problem here? What's the difference? Oh, they used the white guy. The white guy that everyone puts their hopes and dreams on and assumed is always the beacon of light. Even though, throughout his history, beyond just what Deepalm said there, Steve Rogers hasn't really been... Like, the beginning of Nick Spencer's run is literally, with Sam Wilson, is literally Sam telling Steve, you talk all this stuff, but you're really just an agent of the state, and you don't do anything for the real people out there.
Which is a little bit of retconning, because whatever, the runs
right.
are the runs.
Yeah, I get you.
It's a broad brush to paint the entire Captain America with, but that's fine.
I guess it was more along the lines of what he is now, what he represented now.
Yeah, exactly. No, especially now, like he's literally the face of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. And Steve and Sam was just like, but like, look at these people down here literally attacking and kidnapping people on the border. And Steve was like, that's not our business. And Sam was like, I don't think so. I think it is.
It's our business.
Yeah. And you now have, and then when Steve came back, and again, Steve coming back and getting young again, the story is basically Red Skull manipulates him using the Cosmic Cube and changes his reality. Steve is now evil and is now doing things that you see, hate to say it, but white America do to black America all the time. Well, just to America, period. He is acting subversively to undermine everyone around him. His friends, people who believe in him, and he's taking advantage of that because he's Steve fucking Rogers and he's unquestionable. Nobody would ever question the motives of Steve Rogers. I'm sorry. That's a good fucking story because you know what? It fucking happens. It happens in real life.
Right. Who would?
We live in a world where George W. Bush became president because white America thought, well, he's a good enough guy and I can have a beer with him. So when 9/11 happened, they were like, well, we'll let him. And they literally passed ridiculous laws like the Patriot Act with barely any votes against it. Then we come back later and go, oh, man, what happens is like, because of things like this. Because you see a guy, you're like, oh, he's a good guy. You don't look past his surface, and you just assume everything's fine. Meanwhile, the black Captain America is literally going through hell and is being undermined to the point of wanting to quit and actually quitting because of what Steve Rogers did to him. That's a great story because that's real. And so many people I'm seeing now are also going like, well, I'm just tired of Nazis. I'm tired of seeing it. It's because, well, no, you're tired of Nazis because, well, the Nazis won in this election. But this story started way before we knew that Donald Trump was going to win. So Marvel and Nick Spencer, it's not their job to go, oh, well, we had this really cool story, but since it hits too close to home and it makes you uncomfortable, we're not going to tell that fucking story anymore. No, I'm sorry, that's stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That doesn't make any sense. I have yet to see a legit reason for why this story is bad beyond the fact that, well, Steve Rogers means so much to me and I don't want to see him changed. First of all, I never knew this many people liked Steve Rogers before. Anyway, but okay. Secondly,
the Remanders work really good.
No, I'm not saying that they were bad or anything, but like, let's be honest. I mean, how many people were really out there checking for Steve Rogers? I mean, let's be real. Not many people.
You, as someone who was
you, but come on, how many other people outside of you? Were there a lot of people?
It's interesting because historically it's been a middling Marvel book, but once they started putting big name creators on it, they started, like with the early 2000s stuff, they started making Steve matter again.
Yeah.
And so I think that his swell in popularity is more recent. I think you're right, but I think the last 15 years have been very kind to Steve's Q rating.
All right. I'll give him that. But at the same time...
And that goes back to things we've always said here. You put a good creator on something, they're going to get the most out of it. They said, hey, I want to go. Bucky says, all right, give it a shot. And that's why people care about Steve again.
And here's the other thing too about this. Like, I keep seeing people go, well, you know, it's just the Marvel's peddling this Nazi material and making Steve Rogers good. Steve Rogers Hydra and it's Nazi and it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, but he's bad. Like, you keep saying Hydra equals Nazis and Nazi equals bad. It's like, yeah, like Secret Empire is basically going to be the Marvel Universe trying to stop Steve Rogers.
And it's showing you why Steve Rogers without scruples is a pretty scary fucking idea.
Right. Like, go back and read Civil War II, The Oath, where he's basically talking about, when he's talking to a comatose Tony Stark and explaining, you know, what the powers they gave him. It is over the top. It is ridiculous. They gave this man, you know, unprecedented powers, and only because he's the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Steve Rogers. Of course he's a good guy. And this goes back to why you can't give people unchecked power. You know, everybody's so worried about Maria Hill at the time and her going over the top. And Maria Hill went way too far and out of bounds on some things. But they responded to that by then giving even greater powers to Steve Rogers because, well, Steve will do the right thing.
Right.
This is what happens in real life, guys. Mm-hmm. Like, you give people all this power, expecting them to do, and you don't check them, and then you're wondering how we got here. That's what this story is. It is a great story. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if it ends the way, you know, the way Civil War II kind of predicted,
yeah,
I'm partying. But yeah, I find it ridiculous. I find it ridiculous that people are going this hard about Hydra Cap, but they don't care about Agents of Hydra right now going on network TV weekly. We have shows that actually have actual Nazis in them that get critical acclaim. The Man in the High Castle is basically about what if the Third Reich and the Nazis won the war. And yeah, they're not showing you that this stuff is good. The other thing too is I like about what they've done with Steve Rogers here is his whole thing of, you know, the Red Skull obviously are racist and they don't hide from that in his Nazi background. But Steve thinks that those beliefs are tearing down Hydra and that he's going to build a better Hydra. A Hydra without the racism. Guys, you guys do know that the KKK is out here trying to rebrand themselves as not being that bad because they're the KKK, but they're not really. We're not the neo-Nazis and the races of the KKK before. It's the same story, guys. Same story. What's the problem? Like this is art. You know, I don't want to say art imitating life or life imitating art, but is very realistic. And hey, maybe you don't want realistic things. Maybe you just want your Captain America to be a beacon of hope with nothing behind it. Okay, you could have gotten behind Sam Wilson. You know, you could have seen how. Like, I literally saw somebody yesterday arguing that, you know, oh well, you know, Sam Wilson, he's a different character. He's not the Captain America we're looking for. I'm like, why is that? Because he's black? Like, why can't Sam Wilson be the Captain America that really represents what Captain America really is? Why can't he? Oh, we can't answer that question. Okay. Yeah. I like I said, I'm no longer arguing with people about this. If people say this, I just think they're stupid. I think I'm sorry, but I do not entertain any of the mainly because most of the people that are making the arguments aren't even fucking reading the books, and they don't even like. I literally saw a YouTube video from she's a woman, she's Jewish, and she's saying why Hydra, and I'm watching I'm reading it. I mean, I'm watching the video, and like 30 seconds in, I'm like, well, she's got the basic facts about why Steve Rogers is Hydra now completely wrong. She's got it wrong. Like, that's not how. Like, they're not erasing all of Steve's previous history. Reality has been changed here, which means reality will change back, guys.
Don't tell people how comics work.
That's the story. I mean,
and the thing is, all right. So I have to get out of here, but I do want to say this. People complain about superhero comics because they give the illusion of change. That's kind of the idea behind superhero comics, because they're such large corporate entities that you can't really change the core of the characters. People get mad and say, that's why I don't read superhero comics. They do something that even like tweaks the character that you know will return to status quo because of the corporate nature of Big Two comics, which is actually being challenged right now because of the immense amounts of money Marvel Films brings in. You got to be a little more creative on the Marvel side. We'll talk about that another time. What I'm saying is, if you don't want cyclical comics that tell the same story that nothing changes, you can't get pissed when things change. They didn't change the way you want it. You're a child. Be a grown-up and understand the story, read a story, and then judge it on its merits. Don't read a headline and say, well, that's bad.
Yeah. So, all right, folks. Getting out of here. Pick up Secret Wars. It's really good, guys.
It's great.
We're getting out of here. Thank you guys very much for listening again. This is a Super Tuesday recap for Arrow. You can find us on iTunes. Search for Super Tuesday recap. Leave us a 5-star review. We'll read it on air. Email us mtrailerreviews@movietrailerreviews.net. Also, don't forget that June 17th we'll be in the area with Deepon will be up. Where's My 40 Acres? The Black Eye at Tips will all be there. Please continue come out to support us. We'll have more information on venue hopefully this weekend when Rod's on and Sandy check. So just stay tuned, and until next time, we're out of here. Peace.